want to just help me get started into making this video, especially since there was no precedent for a video like this being made on social media, right? There was no short form video to take inspiration from. I was thinking, first thing I was thinking is, what is the ideal story I want to tell? What is that perfect story? And so I could go through, what I had done is I went through and I made bullet points, just rough bullet points of the story that I want to tell and establish the promise this father is about to meet his children's killer. So we're going somewhere here, right? Because at the start of your videos, you want to establish the plot of the video, right? That's what's going to keep people watching. So that's the first bullet point, is like, I have to figure out a way to establish immediately that this guy is about to meet the guy that killed his children, and then make viewers think, how will he react, right? So I will figure this part out. Then it would be, just picturing. It's easy to say now because I've already made the video, but I think back then I was thinking like, okay, flashback to the event, right? So this establishes what actually happened and also sort of establishes the character of the murderer in this situation, right? Because you get to see him, it was a tragic car crash basically, and he was drunken. And then the next thing I would think is like, okay, now the plot promise is set up. We establish the context, right? Because people would be hooked by this point. So then we want to flash back and really ground the story again and build it up. So then how has this affected the father's life? That's more context that I want to establish. The next bullet point would be murder now. It can be really simple. And then they meet, father forgives him. Just to keep things short, right? This would be the short form story I want to tell. So then I would write a little prompt like, hey, make a story map for this. Find the best moments in the video, and it would actually go through and watch the video and then find all the best moments for me to tell this exact story. And so already just something like this would take me 80% of the way there.
What does it come out? Just a text of what you should do, basically, based on what you asked him to do? Or it'll show
exactly
clip the scenes as well?
Yeah, it will. Depending on what I want to do, it's either I want like a fully fleshed out story map or I want an actual script. But it could, like for a script, let's say it would give me the lines of the actual script plus like in brackets, the visuals for the video. Since it actually has visual understanding of what happened.
Okay, wow. Oh, wow. Super cool. That's super interesting. Yeah, so I'm curious about how's your editing process, right? Like you mentioned an editing formula. Can you talk about it?
Yeah, so if I were to break down sort of the editing that I do in a formula, obviously by this point, before I start editing, I'll have this story sort of mapped out of what I want to do, maybe even scripted out in certain cases. The editing formula is like a two-part thing. Actually composing the story in Adobe Premiere Pro, right? It's bringing the elements together and seeing what fits together, especially making sure that it fits together well with the music. And then the second part would be to like boltify it, to make it look like a Bolt motivation video in After Effects, which is like just adding all the extra visual elements and stuff that make it look a bit prettier. But ultimately, by the time I bring it to After Effects, I already want it to look, or I already want the story to